Well, hello. It's been a little while again. The sun's shining beautifully at the moment, but it's a really cold wind. So let's see how we go. Tried to pull the Healey out about 3 times now, and you know, the really cold winds come over, or it started raining and had to wheel it straight back in. Anyway, I just need to show you the fuel line, that it's now complete, and I now need to do the brake line. I ordered these elbows for the fuel line on the fuel pump. As you can see, they're a solid 1 item piece, rather than put them in and be raised, because I've got a loose nut on there which would make them a lot taller. I wanted to keep that as short as possible. So I had to wait about 6 to 8 weeks for these. I ordered the 2, you know, the in pump and out pump. If memory serves me, I think they're called a BSP. And now I just noticed they'll be locked down with this olive. Okay, you see there, I've got an olive, and the nut which connects on. So the olive, of course, on the tube sits in there, and the nut then comes over and locks up and locks the whole thing. Pretty basic, pretty standard, but the point is that they do use the fuel line does use olives. Now I did notice down in here where the olive would sit, that the little tiny edge there looked a little bit raggedy, not smooth, and of course it's important that you run a nice smooth edge on that. So I've got a countersinking tool here, and just by hand just gave it a little twirl, okay, and just so that I could see a nice clean edge on that without actually digging into it, but any to take away any bumps and burrs and machine burrs that might be there. So just a little countersinking tool that I've got. So I've done that. Then some weeks ago I bought these drills, Ryobi. They're on special, high-speed steel. I only really ever use high-speed steel drills, and they're on special at our local hardware store, Bunnings. They're Ryobi, and truthfully I've never come across such rubbish in my life. I mean, these drills here lost their sharp edge in no time flat, and I even broke a drill, as you can see here. I don't know, I just don't know what to make of it. I think the heat treatment was a bit off on this batch, but you know, I mean, high-speed steel drills aren't cheap, even though these are on special, and I was very disappointed, and I needed to tell somebody. So there you go, you're going to cop it. Okay, so I need to show you the little clips that I've done on the fuel line. Okay, they're all in place now. Also, Lynn, thank you very much. You helped me by pointing out the fact that my seat slides were on around the wrong way. The long edge was at the front. So I did ask him, said I was confused about it. Can't get out. We're in total lockdown here at the moment. Can't get out to have a look at anybody else. The books don't tell you much of anything. So Lynn, thanks very much for helping me on that, sending me pictures, and of course I had them the wrong way around. Bugger. Anyway, I've turned those around, so the seat pans, they're all done. They're Loctited in, and the heat shield on the left side is all in place. So my next job is to do the fuel line, okay, because I want to actually put so once that's in place and I can finish the fuel line that goes into the boot, I want to put the springs, the rear axle springs leaf springs. I want to put those in, and so I wanted to make sure that my work in that bay, that cavity area, was fairly complete. The only thing I really got to do is the brake line, fit these fuel elbows, okay, and the electrical wires that go up into that cavity, large cavity, before I put the whole rear end, which is the diff and you know, the axles and so on, before I put that whole rear end in, which I'd like to do fairly soon. So I'm heading towards putting the front end in, putting the rear end in, and get it upright, and maybe get some tyres. I've got spoke wheels, and I'd like to get it down on its wheels as soon as I possibly could. I would then think I would feel real progress once I did that, but I want to be sure that my underbody work is fairly well complete. I did price some an exhaust system from England. I rang the guys in Melbourne. There were none in stock, mild steel or stainless steel. And interestingly, they mentioned the fact that nobody has ordered a stainless steel exhaust system for about 10 years, and I sort of found that a bit odd. You know, those that do have it, you know, a couple of guys I spoke to said it's fantastic, and that's, you know, lasts for years and it looks good for years, rather than you know, the heat on those systems turning them dark and rusty fairly quickly. So I was interested in stainless steel. I know that I was sort of heading towards concourse, but I'm also interested in, you know, using the latest technology that's around. For instance, the fillers and paints and so on, nutserts, which isn't part of the concourse tradition, I suppose. But I was keen to use all those items anyway, but still keep it as close as I possibly could to the original. So somebody mentioned if I use stainless steel exhaust, I might actually throw my concourse out the window. I don't know. You'd lose points surely, and chances are I'd lose maybe too many. I don't know. So I put that back at you and ask, you know, can you advise stainless steel versus mild steel, and what effect it has on a concourse type build. So I'll just leave it at that. I think the best thing is, let's get into it. Okay, so let's have a look at the car, what I've done, and then let's flip it over and get to work on the fuel lines as well, the same thing. I'm a bit worried that the fuel line's got some bends in it, which is fine. I don't have any problems with the bends, but will it reach the item at the other end, that five-way the five-way union that's at the other end? I don't know, and I'm sort of a little bit worried that I might not have enough length. And so the bends need to be tight and need to take the shortest path, so that I can still connect to the union at the front end. Anyway, let's take a look at it and let's move on. Okay. I seem to have lost sound here, so I'm making it up as I go. I've used a P-clip on the very last clip, and there you can see there are those little pushing clips from there. So I think the P-clip is a good idea in case something drags when you pull the engine out. So we go right along to the back. I've tried to space those equidistantly, and the bend goes up and around and over to the pump. So that's ready then for the little elbows that I just discussed. I've put the electrical loom underneath the shielding only because it was neat, it was tidy, and there was room and there's space underneath. I'm still waiting for some little bullets to come in, and so what you see is what you see. The next thing, of course, is the brake line, and I'm a bit worried about how tight that's going to be when it comes up and through and then works its way along. So okay, I've just flipped it right side up, and so we can see what we're doing here. You can see on that side there, if I go over the top, there's my fuel line, okay, which is just there, and it runs along there. As you can see, the copper pipe there. Okay, so my latest linkages and so on, they're all in place. Getting ready to put in the front end as well, and so I've got the little bumpers in place, and over here seat pans. Again, thank you, Lynn, for your help on that. My gearbox bumpers. Okay, and so I'll need to make my way to the fuel pump just in there, and I thought I'd do it right side up because it's just sitting there, and if I sit here on a little chair and undo that and do them up, it looks like it might be easier to do it this way, I think. And the seat pans slide beautifully after all that work that we did, and so I'm pleased with those now, so they can sit there for a while till we're ready for the next stage. Okay, what I need to do is get access to these two bolts, one, and where's the other bump? There, two bumps there, and just clean the sound deadening off, and so that I can just get to them and undo them. So let me set you back, and I'll it's a little bit too loose, you know. I'd like it to be a little bit tighter than that. It's got to be facing that way, and that's Down like that. Again, too loose. See if I can get another turn out of that. Yep. Okay, so that one's good. That's the inline. Now this one, I need that sitting that way, and again, too loose. Okay, that feels a lot better. Okay, so in, out, and earth, and your power lead there. Okay, so that's ready to be put back in. Let's see if I can, yeah, okay. Just temporarily put those caps back on. I don't get any muck in there. Okay, let's go and load up. And you can see there it's actually pretty good for alignment. Okay, this is a little bit on the low side, but I think I can just jiggle that a little bit to make that fit in there nicely. If I just pull that out of the way, I can connect. And yeah, I need to change the angle a bit there as well. Confused about this fellow being down. Again, I need to look at that. That means that the fuel line's got to go up and it's got to come up over the top. Whereas if it was on the upper side, it might be better. But anyway, this fellow here, I don't know if you saw, but I put a 6mm drill down into the tube just so I could kick that over just a little bit. So if you can see that, that's all done up. And that's good. I'm happy with that. It's very rigid, and so the only thing to do here now is connect these two leads. Connect these two leads here, which is, one of these is an earth lead, and I'd say this one here, black and white, is the power lead. And of course they've got the wrong fittings on the end, so I need to cut those off and put a spade connector on here, and again a spade connector on there. Okay, so that's it for that part of it. And the weather's taken a turn for the worst again. I don't know if you can hear that wind, but it's actually quite chilly, and the sun's disappeared for a while. So I might have to call it quits there until the next time. And here comes the sun again for about a minute. Okay, that's it. Okay, and finally, this white lead is the one that goes to the pump. Yeah, and just a single white lead, and the black and white one actually goes to the battery isolator switch, and that's that one here, which just a bit hard to get underneath. Still got to put a little clamp in there to hold it out of the way, up the top there. And then here I've put an earth and an additional earth there, and I've scraped the paint away a little bit just to make sure I've got good body contact. So the earth, of course, being the positive, doesn't make sense, but that's the positive, and obviously the other leads are all the negative, because the body is positive. Okay, so that's it. That's the electrical wiring done, and so I'm pleased with that so far. And I've got to wrap this up, because yes, the sun's out, but there's clouds everywhere. Okay, wrap up.